Hi, I'm Katie.
And I'm Koli.
Welcome to the SVU Coven podcast, Little Witch Detectives.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It's rainy in Atlanta right now, and so
It,
it's just kind of like gloomy.
yeah, it's foggy up here.
Yeah. So I've been kind of like all day,
Yeah.
just and Mercury retrograde. So retrograding.
Yes.
But it's fine. We're here. We're chilling.
Yeah.
Um, should we jump into things?
Yes.
Okay. So this is our Witch Talk. It's the corner of the intro of our show where we catch you guys up on what we've been doing. It's a little redundant for Coley and I, so we may giggle our way through it just because we pretty much already know what the other one's been doing. But, it's to catch up with our witch detectives. Um, so what have I been doing? It feels like it's been kind of crazy lately. I know like the astro weather of it probably makes sense, but things in my life have been kind of all over the place. We had
Yeah.
Thanksgiving since we recorded last, so I saw my whole family, which is I love them. I love them so much. There's like about 12 of us every time. So not huge, but not small either. But we
Hmm.
all have very loud personalities. So it's just like quite stressful after a while because it's like an event, family gatherings. It's like we're putting together an event, and so it always is way more stressful than it needs to be. My family's primarily women, so you know. Um, but other than that, I've been uh job searching, looking for jobs. Hopefully I'm gonna hear back from a couple sometime soon, according to the tarot cards.
Yeah.
So, um, so that'll be fun. Hopefully starting a new job soon and then going into Christmas. Ooh, did I tell you what I'm making for Christmas?
No.
So I decided to make my gifts this year to save a little money, honestly. And I decided to make a coffee brown sugar scrub like for your skincare. And I thought that was cute because coffee, and if you know me, I drink coffee like all day, every day.
Yeah. That is
Um
cute.
yeah, and then I thought I would make some of my good vibes spray, which is just Florida water and a mix of essential oils, which I use around the house because I try to avoid saging in my apartment complex. Number one, because it'll set the fire detectors off.
Hmm.
And number two, I'm trying not to sage as much. So I started making good vibe spray. So fun fact, get you some Florida water and any essential oils you have and shake it up. And I use it like around my house and in my car just to kind of cleanse the energy, but it also smells good.
Yeah.
So I thought I would make those two things for like my family for Christmas. Because I don't think they're really gonna care, but it'll be fun for me.
Yeah.
And I'm Reiki infusing and doing spells on all of it too to kind of emit the good vibes. So
Yes.
yeah. So I'm excited about that. I'm doing that this week actually in a couple days. Getting together with fellow witch Sabrina and making some skincare. So it's very practical magic.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's pretty much what I got going on. We're and then Christmas after that. Um, I did get tickets to see Kendrick Lamar next year, which is
Hmm.
like I did do that this week. The Ticketmaster queue, I thought I was gonna get in a fist fight with her, but um my boyfriend is a big Kendrick fan and he's really converted me. And so I was really excited because we get to do that next year. But he's playing at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which is like where the Super Bowl is going to be this year. But it is the ugliest, but Coley, it is the ugliest building I have ever seen in my life. It is literally the Cybertruck of buildings. Like it is so ugly. And I was like, of course, he's playing there at the Super Bowl and then he's coming back and playing at the ugliest building known to man
Yeah.
again. But beggars can't be choosers, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, all of that is what I got going on. I just talked so much because I was trying to come up with things to say. Um, so what's going on with you?
The New Jersey chapter of the Survivors for Justice Reform Coalition officially had their first meeting.
Hey.
Um, I'm talking to someone on her. I
Hmm.
haven't told you this yet, but I'm
Uh-uh.
talking to someone on her, and we were talking about like TV shows and like Switches and stuff because my grandfather got me a Switch for Christmas.
Oh, wait, we have to be friends. We can
I
discuss
don't,
that
yes,
later.
I don't have it yet. He ordered it on Amazon and it's like on its way.
That's such
So
a
I
good
don't
gift.
have it yet, but we will be friends. Um, but she was like, "What are your top 10 episodes of SVU?" And I'll watch them because she's never seen SVU before. So I was like, "This is hard, but I'll do it.
I've
It's
got you.
doable." So I
That sounds
listed
like a
off,
game we would play.
yeah, I listed off 10 episodes. Um, they're not 100% my favorite, but they're my favorite that aren't like in the Thunder Benson saga or
Right.
um the jumped in, soldier up, blood out saga. I tried to do episodes that were like standalone episodes.
Yeah. Good
Yeah,
introductory episodes.
yeah,
Yeah. Because some of them can get a little like fan oriented.
yes. One of the ones on my list was Longest Night of Rain.
Hmm.
And I was like, this one makes me cry, but it is one of my favorites.
It's so good. My ass would have been like, watch 911 and then watch 911 again.
Yeah.
Nine more times. Just keep watching it.
I
That's
didn't have any 1.0 episodes though.
mm, interesting. Accurate.
I was gonna put in Swing, but like
I do love
I
Swing.
ran out of I ran out of episodes.
Um, Swing is a good one. We talked about it a lot the other day.
Yeah, we did.
Well, that sounds so fun. I love that she asked you to do that.
Yeah, me too.
That's cool. Hmm. Well, is anything else going on?
Um, not really that I
I
can think of.
It's that time of year. I feel like it's just a lot of craziness and
Yeah.
nothing.
I
Ah,
baked
okay.
last Thursday, but
Gotcha.
yeah, I made strawberry cupcakes with chocolate fudge icing.
Ooh, that sounds good.
They were very good.
All right, well, on to the next.
On to the next.
Okay. So, SVU Mariska Corner.
Oh, yes. I was skipping ahead to the astrology weather.
Mm-hmm.
SVU Mariska Corner.
Okay.
So, Mariska and Peter went out on a date a couple days ago.
What?
Um, for the holidays. So that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Peter looks so dapper in his suit and bow tie.
No.
I love it when he wears a bow tie.
Yeah, I feel like he's one of the rare men that can pull it off.
Yeah, yeah.
Not gay. Mm.
Um, we're still on hiatus until January 16th. Ice was on Fallon the other night, and he performed one of his songs with Body Count.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I didn't watch it, but he was on Fallon the other night.
I didn't know that. Good for him.
Yeah,
That's cute.
it's all on YouTube, so you can go back and watch it.
I'm sure. Ice has been everywhere lately. Him, Will Ferrell, and Shaq have signed a bunch of like partnership deals, so they're just in all these fucking commercials.
Yeah.
I see their stupid faces every single day, and I'm like, guys, I love all of you individually, but why are you everywhere? Um, but
Snoop
I
Dogg has been pretty popular too.
yes, and him and Martha together have been doing a lot of stuff. Martha Stewart.
Yeah.
queen of my life. Um, I just love her. I love Martha. I support whatever she does. Just like yesterday, she posted a cute photo of herself, like full makeup, like gorgeous, and she was like, "I look good," and I was like, "You do, girl. Go on." Anyway, yeah, all of them have been doing. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because we're Super Bowl leading up to it, but lots
Yeah.
of ads lately with ice in them.
Well,
Um,
Snoop, I think it's because he's on The Voice and he
yeah,
got some recognition from that. Not that
I
he
keep
needs
forgetting he's doing
recognition.
that. Hmm?
He doesn't need the recognition. Um,
Get
but
that back.
yeah, he
Hmm.
got some traction from that, and I know he's on at least one T-Mobile commercial.
My favorite marketing that he's doing right now is the lighters with Martha
Hmm.
because Martha's advertising them as candles for your home decor lighters, and then he's advertising them as what he would advertise lighters for, but
Yes.
it's both of them on the package. And I'm like, that's amazing.
Yes. And they work for both things.
Mhm.
And you don't get your
Well,
fingies burnt.
great. Good for ice. Well, is that our SVU corner, I think?
Um, Mariska also posted a video to Instagram the other day, a few days ago actually, um, where they were filming out on the streets of NYC and it
Mm.
started to snow and she's like, magic is happening. It's the first snow of the season.
How Lorelai Gilmore of her.
Yeah.
I smell snow.
Yep.
Um, that's kind of cute though, that they were out filming and it snowed.
Yeah.
Maybe they filmed in the snow a little bit.
Yeah, they did.
Cute. Um, I can't wait for January. I'm so tired of hiatus.
I know. My aunt, we were talking the other day and she's like, did we have a new episode last week? I was like, no, last week was Thanksgiving. And she's like, who are they to tell me that I can't watch SVU on Thanksgiving?
I know. I'm like, they take a break for the holidays, but like I don't.
Yeah.
I'm like, why would you do this to me? Oh, well, all right. So, are we good to move on?
Yes.
Yeah. So for our quick little astro weather report, we are in Sagittarius season now, and we are in Mercury retrograde now. And so those two things, I talked about it a little bit last time, but those two things in combination kind of make for a wild time. Um, right now, I would mostly say be mindful of how you're communicating. Sagittarius energy makes us very impulsive, which can actually be a good thing. Um, because we'll be making bigger decisions than we would otherwise, or maybe kind of acting like even in the littlest way. Yesterday, I bought new chapstick when I didn't really need it because I was at the
Mm,
checkout and I was looking at it and I was like, oh, I want to try that. And I just grabbed it and bought it. And I'm not usually an impulse shopper. I'm usually very particular. Like I go into a store knowing what I want to buy, or I go into the store knowing that I'm gonna like browse, you know.
yeah.
I don't normally impulse buy. I usually think things through, and it was as little a thing as a chapstick. But um, I think it's a good example in my personal life of this, the weather of astrology being a little more impulsive,
Yeah.
and making decisions without really thinking them through. In combination with Mercury retrograde, which affects your communication. You really have to be careful during this time because a lot of us are spending time with family too, where communication is not always the strongest suit. Um, so just be mindful of the words you're saying, whether you're talking to someone else or talking to yourself. Try not to be too negative and be kind of conscious or aware if you notice a conversation is getting a little spicier than normal in the bad way, not the good way. Um, just take a step back, reflect, and make sure the things that you are saying or you are arguing or communicating are really what you mean.
Hmm.
Because we're a little more reactionary right now.
Yeah.
Uh, and going into the holidays. So, or the big one.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, just be mindful, but you'll be fine. Stay hydrated. You got this.
Two things.
Hmm.
Mercury has been putting me through it.
I know. Hmm.
Last week, every time I opened my computer, or the week before, every time I opened my computer, something was going wrong.
I know.
I went to go edit the Allison Siko episode, and the video was upside down.
It was
So I
just,
had to figure out how to flip it.
yeah. And then there was something else that happened to that one too. I can't remember. It was so bad. It was like every time you texted me, you were like, fucking Mercury.
Yeah, seriously.
Mm.
Um, and the other thing was, um, I don't remember what the other thing was now.
Well,
Oh, my grandmother's best friend had a saying before she died, and it was say what you mean what you say, but don't say it mean.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good one for this month.
It's become like a family saying now.
Mm. I love that. Um, well, yeah, I think that's about it for the astro weather. It'll get more intense and crazy come January. But
Yay.
just
Yay.
need just what we need. But right now is kind of on the tamer side, so we take our wins where we can get them.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think that's all for that.
Speaking of editing the Allison Psycho episode, we have
Mm,
an episode with Allison Psycho out.
no, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
Um, we've posted about it a lot on Instagram, and obviously, if you're watching this on YouTube, it is on our YouTube. If you're listening to it, it's on all our podcast platforms.
Yeah.
But we did have Miss Kathleen Stabler on the show.
Hmm.
And she was so nice. I want to be friends with her, but I don't know how to broach that because I don't know how to make friends as an adult. So I was just like,
Yeah,
follow me
I
on
want to be
Instagram.
friends too.
I know. It's like, do you want to just be around all the time? I like you. But she was so nice.
She was. She was
And
incredibly sweet.
mhm. And I sense a little witchiness about her.
Yes.
The way she was talking about things throughout the interview was very like witchy minded, I think.
Yeah. Um,
Um,
I was talking to my therapist about this yesterday because I didn't have therapy on the second when the episode dropped. So I
mhm.
didn't talk to her about it then. But I talked to her about it yesterday and she's like, "How did you manage that?" I was like, "I just emailed her." She's like, "You got some balls." I was like, "You have to when you're a podcast host."
It was just funny too, because Koli, I was like, oh my God. And when we found out, and Koli was like, yeah, I figured if I emailed everybody, someone would respond.
Eventually.
Eventually someone would reply.
Yeah.
Um, but I love that it was Allison.
Yeah,
Because I
me
feel
too.
like uh she's a fun or like a less intimidating interview in that she's about our like in our age group
Hmm.
and can relate to us on a lot of things in a lot of ways, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas had we started with someone a lot older, it might have been a little more scary. So I
Yeah.
like we had kind of a chill. It felt like just talking with our friends.
Yeah.
Um, but you guys should go watch it
Yes.
because it was really cute and fun and I don't know. I still can't really believe that that happened.
Yeah, I know. Um, on YouTube, I know on the audio only platforms it's called Bonus. It's Playtime with Allison Psycho, and it's
Mhm.
called the same thing on YouTube. So it's
Yeah. Um, and of course, go follow Allison.
yes.
She very much wants to do more SVU and OC work, I think. So
Yeah.
encourage it. Hopefully, she'll get booked on some more stuff. I wouldn't even be mad if she was like on SVU for some things, minus the Maloney of it all.
Yeah.
Also, I ask if you do go to that episode and listen to it, thank you so much, but also please be respectful. We went out of our ways to be very respectful about Chris Maloney while talking to Allison,
Hmm.
as they do have a personal and professional relationship. Uh, so please make sure to be respectful about that stuff as well as respectful about Allison. She even mentioned in the interview that, it's something that's important to her as well and important to us that everyone is respectful and
Yeah.
not invasive. So thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Our
Uh,
opinions about Chris Maloney are our opinions, but that
mhm.
doesn't mean that we can't interview somebody who has a differing opinion of who he is and who
Yes,
may have more of an insider information to who he is than we do.
right. And she talks very highly of him, and
Hmm.
so I just don't want to encourage anyone else to be mean because I think this is someone that matters to her and
Hmm.
has played a big role in her life.
Yeah.
So it would be the same thing as like if in my personal life, if people talked shit about my grandmother. Like I love her to death, but we have very different political opinions, but she's still a huge part of my life.
Yeah.
So um just be respectful. That's all.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so moving right along here. While you're following Allison, you could also go follow us on Instagram. That would be pretty cool. We have an Instagram account called SVU Coven. We post there the most likely our updates on our stories, especially, and on our feed. Anything new or going on with us will be posted there first. We also have a free to join Discord server. You can find it in the link in our Instagram bio. I would really love to grow that server and grow the coven over there because I think we could do some cool like virtual events and stuff in the future. So if you're on Discord and interested, feel free to join. If you're not on Instagram, we can send you a link via email. Just shoot us an email and ask for it. Koli does check the email, and so someone is reading them and will respond to you. It's svucoven@gmail.com.
Yes.
Um, Also, if you're interested in being on the show, working with us, running an ad with us, anything like that, also shoot us an email. That's the best place for businessy things as well. Um, and lastly, we have merch through Fourth Wall. It's super cute. We actually just ran a huge sale on our merch store for Cyber Monday, Small Business Saturday, Black Friday, all that kind of stuff. We designed it all ourselves and we love it. So if you buy any of it, please post pictures of it or send us some. We would love to see it. It's through Fourth Wall, and the proceeds do go to Fourth Wall, but also to us. And anything we earn from merch will go back into the show. So we appreciate the energy exchange, and I would personally probably cry to see our merch out in the wild. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So this is your episodic reminder to rate, review, subscribe, like, and comment. All of the above are important for the algorithm to push us to other people. Rating, reviewing, and subscribing are the most important things you can do on an audio only platform. Um, you can review individual episodes on Apple Podcasts, and you can comment on individual episodes on Spotify. Subscribing, liking, and commenting are the most important things you can do on YouTube. Again, for the algorithm to push us out to other people. It's all about engagement on both um sectors.
Yeah.
Um, so I would highly appreciate if you would do that. And we have a coffee. So you can go on to coffee. The link is in the episode notes. And you can donate however much or little you want. It's not mandatory, it's completely voluntary. And all that money gets put back into the show. And we appreciate the energy exchange on all of that.
Yeah. Ugh, the coffee thing is so cute too, because it's like, buy me a coffee. And I love that as a concept.
Yeah.
Um, all right. So our self-love affirmation today. is one that I have been saying to myself a lot whenever I feel like I'm about to have an anxiety or a panic attack. Um, I have an anxiety disorder, so it's more common in my life. But this is something that's really been working for me. And so if any of you guys can relate, I hope it works for you as well. So if you are in a safe place, close your eyes if you're not operating heavy machinery. Take 3 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth, and repeat to yourself, I am safe exactly as I am. And I really like this one because I think a lot of my anxiety is fear-based, even if I'm not outwardly scared of something. And so reminding myself, it's almost like I'm telling my brain, hey, I am safe. We are safe. Everything's safe here. And kind of almost like proving it to myself because then I feel it. And so in a way it's manifesting, just a very instant manifestation for yourself.
Yeah.
But reminding the fear part of my brain or like the flight part of my brain that I'm safe tends to help me feel better. So I thought I would share with you. Woo.
Okay.
All right. So should we get into the episode?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Mm. Okay. So we are covering season 3, episode 23 of Law and Order SVU called Silence. I do kind of want to give a little disclaimer. There are some slurs used in this episode if you're watching it along with us. Um, and I think a lot of it has to go with the time period and not really having knowledge of more accurate words and pronouns. But just be mindful of that if you're watching along with us, I suppose. I did not include any of it in my notes. So, um, if any of you guys notice that it's not included there, it's just because personally I don't want to say those words. So, okay. So we open on a church where the bells of the church are ringing. A priest, I believe, walks in looking rather upset. He begins to pray. Looking behind him, he goes into another room and sees that part of the church has been burned down, and discovers a dead body on the ground nearby that's covered up with candles around them. Elliot and Olivia and Finn go to the scene of the crime. Finn fills the other detectives in. He said that the perp entered through the side door because it had been left open and then left the victim there. As Elliot enters the church, I thought it was significant to note that he stops what he's doing and immediately does the Catholic prayer symbol.
Genuflect.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
kneels down. They find out that the purse of the victim and their panties are gone. Munch lets them know apparently Munch is there. He was just already with the body. Um, he said, I believe it's Munch that says our Jane Doe's a John. Um, and they say some slurs, like 2 or 3. Uh, and then there's fire damage around them. Munch suspects that it could be a serial killer. Elliot goes to talk to the priest, Father Michael, and they say they need him to come down to SVU to make a statement. Uh, then they speculate that the killer was in a church. He must feel guilty. He must be wanting to repent for his sins, and that's why he would kill the victim. Uh, Melinda says the cause of death was a fractured skull, likely from a big metal object like a flashlight or a bar or something you could whack somebody with, I guess. The perp was not wearing a condom, but he was wearing gloves, and he had a cleaning agent and steel wool that he used to scrub his penis to make it extra clean, I suppose. Um, that sounds painful if you
Yeah.
ask me. But Father Michael comes in for questioning. He says that he sees a lot of everything in the part of town he works in. He sees a lot of crime and a lot of other things going on. But he suggests that they should go talk to Sister Peg. So Munch and Finn go to talk to Sister Peg. Father Michael leaves the door open according to her, Father Michael leaves the door open for shelter. So when a lot of the people who are working on the streets and stuff, they'll come into the church to sleep. And it's understood that Father Michael leaves the door open for them, which is very kind, and that they know not to do business inside the church. Cragen tells Elliot and Olivia what he was able to find, which is basically nothing. Thanks for that. Elliot suggested looking into arson, and transgender attacks and seeing if there's like any correlation there around the city. And Munch does find a lead. Munch and Finn go to pick up the guy for questioning. As they're talking to him, he repeatedly asks not to be touched, and he says he's wearing gloves for his work. He works on like cleaning cars and like windshields and such. Um, they have his DNA and they can prove that he was with our victim, whose name is Jamie. He picked up Jamie and had sex with them, and they were alive when they left his car. Uh, Wong is observing the conversation and notes that he has OCD, which is part of why he's compulsively cleaning or refusing to sit in certain places and stuff like that. Um, I thought this was hilarious, but Wong is looking at their little like red line board and he's like, "What is this?" And he's pointing to a rosary. And I was like, how does he not know what a rosary is? But I
Yeah,
realized after I wrote it, it was part of the bit. He was like pointing to things as evidence and like thinking it through. But it was really funny because he just goes, "What is this?"
it's funny because when I read that, I was like, I read, how does Wong know what a rosary is? And I was like, most people know what a rosary is. But then I
I
read it again and say not know what a rosary is, and it's the same thing. Most people know what a rosary is.
know. I was like, "Sir, what do you mean?" But I realized it was part of his like thought process, like half a
Yeah.
second later. But I was like, okay. So they're looking at this board. Wong points out a couple of different clues and debunks them essentially. He reads, so part of the fire at the church, they had written words in I believe, in the fire or
The
somehow
confessional.
the confessional.
Yeah.
Uh, and
He wrote Pegavisti.
yes, thank you. Um, so the accusation, or they translate these Latin words and realize Jamie's death might have been an accident.
Hmm.
Jamie was, oh, the perpetrator was attacking the priest, and Jamie just happened to be there. Cragen suggests looking into it and talking to Father Michael again.
Yeah. Pegavisti means you have sinned, and what they originally thought it was I have sinned because that's what Father Michael had told them. But I have
Hmm.
sinned would have been Pekavi.
Right. And it changes kind of the trajectory of the case.
Yeah.
So they go to talk to Father Michael and find out that he used to teach at a place where priest molestation had been reported. Cragen tells Elliot to take a back seat if his personal faith becomes an issue with the case. I wrote he won't because Elliot.
Yeah.
Elliot and Olivia go to the church, and Father Michael is cleaning up the bloodstains from the murder. Now that he's allowed to, I guess. Father Michael says he was with the prisoner when the murder took place. He was in confession. They ask him about the molestation at his last school, and he says he can't talk about it because he signed an NDA. Um, Munch and Finn go to talk to someone who was in charge of the case at that previous school. Four boys say they were molested. The kids didn't want to give names because they might have been scared. The church settled $200,000 which with each of the families before they could investigate further. Never filed a report, only had written notes from the case, and two of the boys still live in the area. Um, Elliot and Olivia go to talk to one of the boys who is at some sort of basketball practice, it looks like. They ask him straight up about the case. I thought this was a little aggressive. Like, imagine like two detectives walk up and you're like a basketball coach for children, and they're just like, did you used to go to a school where there was priest molestation? Like in front of, I was like, guys, can we be a little more discreet? Like, uh,
Tactful.
I know. I was like, all right. Because it was just like in broad daylight in the middle of practice. They're like, yes, let's talk about this in front of the children in a church program.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, way to like just start some mass hysteria, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Um, they find out that the kid is still close with Father Michael, asked him to run the basketball program for the kids. Father Michael never touched him, and he doesn't come around much anymore unless one of the kids needs his immediate help with something. Munch and Finn go to talk to another one of the boys. He also signed an NDA and got the money. He's reluctant to say much as he really has moved on. He has a wife and kids, and he's just trying to move past everything. He does give them information for a third boy named Bobby, where to go find him. Munch and Finn go to talk to Bobby, who uh, is dressed like a priest and working to help people. He says he doesn't want to talk about it. He did study Latin in school. He says he was studying the night the crime happened. Bobby says that Father Michael took away his life and he could have been a good priest. And he says this once the detectives pull out a picture of Jamie from the crime scene. Um, when he sees Jamie's picture, he freaks out and says Father Michael ruined his life.
hmm I think Bobby was in seminary,
Yes.
which could be
Uh,
why he was dressed as a priest, but he's not fully a priest yet.
yeah, he's not a priest yet. Um, Elliot, Olivia, Munch, and Finn go and search Bobby's mom's home where he lives. She says he was home after midnight on Monday after working at the homeless shelter. Around 3 a.m., she had heard voices and woken up, and Father Michael was there. Father Michael comes around a lot because Bobby isn't a priest yet. He's studying in seminary, so Father Michael's helping him. Munch found Jamie's purse in Bobby's room, and there's blood all over his flashlight, skin too. Bobby goes in for questioning. He says he confessed to Father Michael, who then forgave him. He says he had done his penance. Bobby had started the fire, but he didn't know that Jamie was there. It scared Bobby when he found Jamie, and he hit him with the flashlight. Just in that moment, a lawyer comes in and breaks them up and tries to get the confession thrown out. Alex says that Jamie was not the church. Um, However, the lawyer comes at her and basically says, like, do you think a jury is going to convict when you throw the words priest and church around? And Alex concedes. And what I love about this moment is she is like, yeah, you're right, and puts out a plea deal. And Cragen is like, what the fuck? What do you mean? What do you mean he's right? What are you doing? Um, but it was a smart move on Alex's part and made sense, just doing her job. We get it. We don't fault Alex.
No.
We find out that there's a room in the basement of the church where, according to Father Michael, boys go in as lambs and come out as lions. Father Michael brings them in there. Bobby was forced to watch porn with Father Michael. He would say he shouldn't be embarrassed about it. Alex asks if Father Michael touched Bobby, and he says yes, that he would stroke his legs. He was 14 at the time. Father Michael made Bobby pass a test where he had to masturbate with Father Michael's help and then do it to him. Afterwards, Father Michael said Bobby would make a mark in heaven. Elliot and Olivia go to the church to investigate Father Michael's things. He asks them to come talk to another bishop. So a priest comes up and asks for them to go talk to a bishop. They tell the detectives that they should be looking into Bobby, not Father Michael. Elliot and Olivia investigate anyway, which I love. Olivia goes through his videos and finds a VHS tape that says MS April 2001 labeled on one of them. This scene in particular is kind of funny. Uh, just from a technology standpoint, there's an old ass computer in there and they're talking about it having a modem and how they can't there's not going to be porn on it because it couldn't even run it and like all this other stuff. And then they
Hmm.
come over and there's a wall of VHS tapes. Um, and I was like, "Oh, I'm old." But the computer in it is a relic. It
Yeah,
really is like
yeah.
old. It's old for SVU. Um,
Well, one of the vows that priests have to take are vows of poverty.
right.
So they don't necessarily have the latest and greatest technology, if they have technology at all.
Right. And that becomes a theme in the episode as well. But it's just funny to look at because everyone in the room thinks it's old. And if everyone in the room thinks it's old, it's even older than the show. And
Yeah.
it's like, if you're like me, I notice the shit like that.
Yeah. I should
Uh,
also say that I know all this stuff about like priests and the Catholic Church and everything because I was raised Catholic, but I am
mhm,
no longer Catholic.
yes. Um, Back at the squad room, they put in the VHS, and it's a recorded tape of a therapy session with Father Michael. It's visibly hard for Elliot to sit and get through this, and I think credit where credit's due, Chris Maloney does a good job of like acting with his face in
Hmm.
this part. Um, in the tape, Father Michael says that he has the urge to touch the young boys. He puts his arm around them, but he knows that he wants more. He says yes to genital contact with these boys. Wong says it's a type of behavior modification therapy that they're doing. Father Michael can't change his desires, but he wants to control them. Um, and the type of therapy they do, I believe, is through this confessional. He talks very specifically about his fantasies and his desires,
Hmm.
and then they make him masturbate with that video on a loop to the point where it's painful,
Hmm.
to modify his behavior so that his brain associates those feelings with pain.
Yeah.
Um, Alex and Kragen go to talk to her boss and asks to get the tape in for trial. They could argue it shows intent. She wants more evidence before they go up against the Catholic Church, and Alex says they need another victim. Elliot and Olivia go back to the basketball program and they ask the kid running it some more questions. They ask him if any of the boys have been acting out or want to spend excess time with Father Michael. He says that one of them has been absent and he called his mother, and the mother said to leave them alone, which sends a red flag to Elliot and Olivia. Then they go to talk to that mother of the boy who had been absent. She says that her son did spend a good amount of time with Father Michael and that he's now an altar boy. And this moment is interesting because Elliot kind of commiserates with her on that because I guess his son just became an altar boy as well. Elliot approaches Father Michael in front of some of the congregation. It looked like they were having choir practice. And if you guys know me, I grew up in church choir and was like did church choir tours and stuff. So I recognized it. I was like, yes, I know that. Um, so he approaches them in front of this practice, and Elliot and Olivia take Father Michael aside very quietly and very discreetly. They arrest him for child abuse. Now, what I want to know is if they're able to do that, how come when they confronted that kid at the basketball like stadium, they just shouted basically molestation and priest at him? But then when we go to the church, we can be respectful and quiet. But anyway, Father Michael pleads not guilty. Alex requests bail at $200,000. Father Michael's lawyer basically threatens Alex and says that he is not going to hold back when he's cross-examining the children on stand. Alex interviews one of the children and he says that Father Michael did stroke his arm and did other things at his place, at his home. He asked him to watch videos with him, sports videos, and then porn eventually. He would sit really close to him and tell him it was okay to feel what he was feeling. During this interview, Cragen interrupts and pulls Alex out. The lawyer from the church asks to talk to the witness. Alex basically says no. He hands Alex some documents and says to ask the witness about Father Michael's television. He says it was like watching normal TV and that it was in color. Father Michael only uses a black and white television. Um, so basically, the mom of this boy recycled the boy's experience to get money from the church, and it was actually about a different priest in a different case that had already been handled, and she had already received quite a lot of money. So basically, she re-victimized and re-traumatized her son to try to get more money from the church. At this moment, we find out that there's another dead body. Elliot goes to the scene of the crime and discovers that it's Bobby. And I noticed that Elliot lifted his hand up and looked at it. Um, from here, Elliot confronts Father Michael. He says he abused Bobby. Father Michael says he abused Bobby. He gave him a beer, made him have sex with him. They watched videos together, and they said that it happened in his room. Elliot realizes Father Michael has no idea what he's talking about. And is kind of just agreeing with whatever Elliot accuses him of doing. Um, Father Michael says he has controlled his desire and kept his vows to the church. Bobby came to Father Michael for help, and he didn't protect him. Father Michael is covering for another priest, just like he did for Bobby. Cragen gives orders to find the other priest. Olivia says to nab them on RICO charges. Alex pitches the idea to the court. The church lawyer fights back. Alex argues the payouts that were given to the boys' families. And for once, the judge agrees with Alex and gives her the subpoena. I just realized I forgot to put a spell break in. So would you like to do a spell break now?
Yeah.
Hey.
Okay, this is coming out December 16th, which is Monday. The color of the day is silver. The incense of the day is clary sage. Stress-free traveler spell. No matter when you get on a plane, it often feels like the bin space has already been claimed by your fellow passengers. To make sure we can always get our bags in the bins, we carry sachets for luck and success in all of our carry-on luggage. To make the sachet, you will need a small piece of fabric, a piece of string, and a few dried herbs from your kitchen pantry. You can use whatever herbs you want here. Be sure they are all dried. But we recommend basil, rosemary, bay leaves, chamomile, and cloves because you are likely to already have a couple of these in your house. Crush up all the herbs and place them in your piece of fabric. Lift the four corners of the fabric up and tie your sachet shut while saying, "My journeys shall be easy and stress-free. All the space I need shall come to me." Place your sachet in every bag for which you need overhead space. And that's Amanda Lynn and Jason Mankey.
Like that. If only I had that when I was traveling to New Jersey. I blame Newark. I don't know why, but I just do.
Fair enough.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
All right. So the detectives followed the money. The corruption had made it all the way to the top with Father Mallison. Bobby was his star pupil. Elliot goes to confront Father Michael. "I know who you're protecting," is what he says. Elliot asks why he became a priest. Father Michael says to serve God and his church. Elliot asks how he is serving the young boys who were abused. Father Michael says to the best of his ability. He keeps confessing the the perpetrator keeps confessing the same sin over and over, and Father Michael is forgiving him again and again, bound by his sacrament. Elliot says, "Silence is a sin, Father." Um, And another thing I liked was he was like, well, who's protecting us? If you guys are just protecting each other, who's protecting the congregation? And then Father Michael says, what about my vows? And um it really like highlights the corruption in the Catholic Church, I think, this conversation. So Father Michael and Elliot go to talk to Bishop Mallison. Elliot tells the bishop he needs to ask him about the confessions he made to Father Michael. Bishop asks Father Michael what he's done and tells him that he'll be expelled from the church because of this. Elliot asks the bishop how he could do this, and the episode ends with the bishop saying, I couldn't help myself. And then we dick wolf.
It's cool.
Oh, this is one of my favorite episodes
Yeah.
because it really it's kind of a multi-layered crime
Yeah.
because you have the conversation about transgender people in the church,
Mm-hmm.
and then you also have the conversation about the corruption in the church itself and how many how pedophilia is somewhat legal in the church because of the confessionals and how that works and our
Yeah.
laws around it. Um, so a sad episode, but a very educational one,
Yes.
I think. So while Koli's shuffling their cards, I just want to remind you guys we are on Instagram at SVU Coven. Please give us a follow over there. We post our updates there most often. We also have a free to join Discord server. You can get that in the link in our bio or via email. If you're interested in being on the show, working with us, have questions for us, anything businessy related, shoot us an email at svucoven@gmail.com. Koli does read them, and one of us will respond to you. Merch through Fourth Wall. If you have merch, if you buy merch, please tag us in it, post photos of it, send it to us via email, send it via bird letter. I don't know. We want to see it and we would love to see it. So the proceeds go to Fourth Wall as well as to us.
Yes.
Oh,
So I had a jumper, and like
yay.
usual, I'm using my Pride Tarot, and I
Mm-hmm.
pulled the Seven of Cups.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this is really fitting for this episode because it's all about searching for purpose, your choices, and the illusion of choices.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think I think this is really fitting for this episode because like Father Michael had the illusion of choice
Mm,
of staying silent, but really
was bound.
was bound by his sacrament.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the cards never lie.
Yeah.
They never do.
So this is your second episodic reminder to rate, review, subscribe, like, and comment. All of them are important for pushing the algorithm to push us out to other people. Rate, review, subscribe is the most important thing you can do on an audio only platform. Subscribing, liking, commenting is the most important thing you can do on YouTube, and we appreciate the energy exchange.
Yay. All right, well, that's our show.
That's our show.
Okay, well, I love you so much, and I'll talk to you soon.
I love you too. Talk to you soon.
Blessed be.
Blessed be.